Throughout the Freedom Ticket course, I'm going to introduce you to several guest speakers that are experts in their field. These are people who I've spoken with on stage, who are friends of mine, who we hang out at different events, but they're experts that I want to come in and give you just a little bit extra information on how to succeed on Amazon. So our first one is Tim Jordan, and you may know Tim from Project X. He's also the host of the AM/PM podcast here at Helium 10, but he's also involved in a lot of different Amazon businesses. And today he's going to be talking about how to manage currencies if you're not from the US, how to save some money moving money around between the US dollar and the Chinese yuan or the euro. And he's going to give you some really cool insights on some great ways to add some more dollars to your bottom line. So please welcome Tim.
Hey everybody, Tim Jordan here, and in this module we're going to talk about money. And I'm not talking about profitability or reading your profit and loss statement. I'm talking about your transactions, your operational aspects of money. The first thing I want to talk about is receiving accounts. When you open up your Amazon account and you start selling, Amazon's going to ask you, hey, where do we deposit your money? And every 2 weeks they're going to deposit your money into this bank account. Well, I say every 2 weeks. Sometimes there's a little hiccup there, which we can talk about later. But essentially, you give them a bank account. Now, if I'm in the U.S., I'm a U.S. citizen, I have a U.S. business, and I'm selling in the U.S., this is easy. You just create a business bank account, and they deposit those funds to you. If you're international, right, you don't live in the U.S., you don't have a U.S. entity, but you're selling in the U.S., Amazon, they will send like your U.S. sales, your U.S. dollar sales proceeds to a different country, but it's very expensive, right? So if I'm a German, and I'm in Germany, I have a German business, and I'm selling in the U.S., and I'm getting paid every 2 weeks, Amazon will convert my U.S. dollars proceeds into euros, right, the currency in Germany. The problem is it's very expensive. Amazon, they don't really advertise this, but they charge you around 2% conversion fee. So 2% fee just to convert into your local currency. The way to avoid that is what we call collection accounts, local collection accounts. What that is basically a account that's set up for you by a service. And the service that I like is Alta, right? Alta is a set of tools by Helium 10 that covers all sorts of financial needs, okay? So you can log into Helium 10's Alta, you can create an account, and you can set up through the digital wallet a receiving account. Now what that is basically a bunch of accounts that Alta manages and operates, and they give you a sub-account. They say, okay, your funds can come into this sub-account. And from there's a lot of things you can do with it. You can leave it parked in U.S. currency. You can convert it over to your whatever foreign account you have. You can from there pay your suppliers. There's a lot of reasons to do that. And it's very inexpensive. Like usually way less than half of what the cost for Amazon to convert those funds are. And when Amazon is paying into your local currency, if you're outside of the marketplace where the funds are being received, they automatically convert and send it to you. With the Alta receiving accounts, you can actually hold those funds for as long as you want to. So I'll give you an example of the way that would work. If I am in Australia and I have an Australian business and I'm selling in Amazon US, if I tell Amazon to convert my funds from my US sales to my Australian currency every 2 weeks, they make that conversion, they charge me a couple percentage, which gets very expensive, and my funds land in Australia. Now, if I want to pay my supplier in China, then I have to send back to China. Or what if I want to pay my 3PL or my logistics provider in the US? I have to send that money back to the US. If I use an Alta receiving account, then my funds from my US sales drop straight into that receiving account. There's no automatic conversions. It's just parked in US dollars. Okay? From there, I can pay my US supplier. I can pay my Chinese supplier. I can pay advertising costs, whatever I need to. Or I can take those funds and transfer a percentage or all of them back to my Australian business. So it gives you a massive amount of control. As another use case, if I'm in the US and I'm selling in the UK or the EU or Japan or Australia, I can set up receiving accounts in those countries, and then I have full control over what I do with those funds. Another great feature of the digital wallet and the receivings accounts is a prepaid debit card. Okay, it's not a credit card. You don't have to go through a credit check to get this. But what this does is it allows you to transfer your funds into a digital card, which allows you to pay as if it's a credit card to U.S. merchants. Now, where this is really awesome is if I'm a wholesaler and I live in Japan and I'm making wholesale purchases from the U.S. and selling them on Amazon U.S., my funds can be transferred into my digital wallet account. I can transfer them my prepaid card, and then I can go online to merchants or wherever I buy my wholesale products or even my online arbitrage products from and make those purchases. It is exceptionally easy. It is very, very reliable, very, very convenient, and it saves you a ton of money because you don't have to transfer your funds unnecessarily between currencies. Another really great thing about the digital wallet that I love is paying my suppliers specifically in China. A lot of people buy their private label products from China because China is just a great place to source, right? If I have a supplier in China that sends me an invoice, it's usually in US dollars. I'll say, hey, your order is going to be $50,000 USD, US dollars. And I'll pay that supplier, and it might cost me a $30 wire transfer fee. And I think, okay, great. It only cost me $30, but it actually didn't. Because if I transfer US dollars to my Chinese supplier, he can't spend those US dollars. He has a special USD bank account, and that money's just parked there. For him to pay his employees or pay his rent or pay his utilities or buy raw materials or anything he needs to do, he then has to convert it from US dollars to RMB, the Chinese currency. And Chinese banks are very expensive. They frequently charge between 3 and 6% to that Chinese manufacturer to convert down to RMB, local currency, from USD. So what I figured out is if I can take an invoice from a Chinese supplier and say, hey, if I pay you directly in RMB, will you give me a 3% discount or a 4% discount? And oftentimes they say no, because they've never heard of this before. And I say, no, I want to pay you directly in RMB. I know you're creating basically an extra cost. You're marking up your invoice to cover this cost that you have to absorb. Let me pay you in local currency in RMB. Give me a 3 or 4% discount. A lot of times they will. Now, if you use the supplier pay through Alta, it might cost you 0.5%, maybe all the way up to 1% based on your volume and the account that you have set up. But even if it costs you a whole 1%, but you save 3 or 4%, you're saving 2 or 3% on your entire order, which can become a very, very sizable amount of money. So log into Alta, check out all the different features. It's constantly being updated, but the main things are supplier pay, local receiving accounts. Take advantage of these and use them because they will save you money. They will give you a lot of control. They'll give you a lot of access to your funds. And as you continue to sell online, tools like Alta are going to continue to give you really great enterprise level tools that are very simple to learn, very simple to use. But if you ignore them, you don't take advantage of them, I think you're leaving a lot of money on the table and you're causing yourself a lot of stress. So again, go to the Alta tab within your Helium 10 platform. You can check out lots of informational videos, how-to videos, and you can check out a demo of exactly how the digital wallet system works. Hope you guys enjoyed this module. Hope this helps. Please don't be terrified or completely overwhelmed with this international currency thing. If a dummy like me can figure it out, surely you can too. I have all the faith in the world. We'll see you guys on another module.